Hey, welcome back to another Hot Spots with Connor Martinez of John's Sporting Goods. This is where we give you tips for fishing a specific spot in the Puget Sound in under 10 minutes. So this is where you're out on the water and you're struggling or you're thinking of planning a trip and you just want to specifically know how to fish an area for a certain type of salmon, and you're going to learn. We're going to teach you here. So today we're going to focus on Jeff Head Chinook salmon. Now this could go for winter blackmouth. This could go for summer, summer Chinook. This is in Marine Area 10, Jeff Head. This is a unique bar because there's two parts, there's two sides here. So we're going to talk specifically tide. We're going to show you the map. We're going to talk real quick gear. Like, we're not going to give you a bunch of options. We're going to give you, if Connor and I were out tomorrow fishing, this is what we'd be using.
That's right.
And then a couple of tips. These are angler tips. So let's jump right into Jeff Head. Tide plays a huge role here in regards to location. So let's talk outgoing tide first, then we'll go ingoing, where you're fishing. And this is, again, Chinook salmon.
Okay. Yeah, talking Chinook salmon. If the tide's going out, I'm going to be on the north end of Jeff Head, well known as President's Point Troll. You're on the very northern part of it, and it's going to extend out into the east. It's going to go east into the middle of the channel there. It's a whole long, you got a huge chunk of real estate there. What I typically do, like if me and you show up in the morning, we're going to start at 90 feet of water, which you'll be up on top of the bar a little bit. And every troll, I'm going to be looking for bait. So say we do a troll in 90 feet, there's nothing there. The next troll, we're going to move out to 120 when we're going to do a troll. And if we find nothing there, we're going to move out to 150 and we're going to do a troll there. We're going to do that. We're basically surveying for bait. And the second we find bait in, say, 150 feet of water, we're going to stay there. The tide's coming in.
Now let's hit pause real quick on the outgoing. The reason why you're starting 90, doing a pass, and if you don't see bait, you're going to move out to 120, do a pass, and if you don't see, you're going to keep moving out, because on an outgoing, sometimes that bait could get pushed out off the bar.
Exactly right. Yep.
Cool.
The water's going to be going towards Everett, Whidbey Island. So I'm going to follow the current, and I'm going to do my drag, so I'm going with the current looking for bait. Because what's happening is that bait's on top of Jeff Head, and it's slowly, with the outgoing tide, getting pulled out into deeper water. And before you know it, you'll be between Jeff Head and Kingston. There's a big deep hole there, and that bait gets pulled right to there. Then the tide changes, and it starts pulling it back towards
So let's
Seattle.
take a look at this map real quick. And as you can see, what Connor's talking about here on an outgoing tide in President's Point, right?
Exactly.
It actually runs east to west, west to east, right? So if the tide's actually moving on an outgoing tide, moving fairly north. So does it matter? Can you go can you troll that bar both directions?
You can go either direction there. You're not, at no point you'll be bucking the tide, which means trolling against the tide, which is slowing your boat down. You're going to have big downrigger angles. It's going to pull you off the bottom, and you're not moving.
Cool. Okay.
So you control both ways there. It's really nice.
Love it. Now let's flip. You got an incoming tide.
Incoming tide. I'm going to be on the opposing side, so I'm going to be on the south side of Jeff Head. I don't know the specific name for it. I just call it the south end of Jeff Head. Again, it's possession bar of Area 10. So you get to the south side, and you're doing the same troll. You're trolling east and west there along the south end. And I would do exactly the same game plan. Start in 90 feet, work my way out to 200, even 250 out there.
Okay, we got it. So we got tides. You know how to fish the tide. We've got the map. We know the location, the direction. All right. I know normally when you come in on my podcast, you got a table full of gear. We went really specific because this is, if we were going out tomorrow, this is what we would use. So let's walk through a couple of your best pieces of gear that you would run for salmon on Jeff Head.
If there's a guy that comes into my store and says, I want to catch a blackmouth, give me the tackle to do that. The first thing I'm going to give him, the Morning Mist Pro Troll Flasher. It's got the blinky light on it. Incredible flasher. I add an orange stripe to it just to give it a little more attractant. And I am putting a KILLY MGHEE on. It's a skinny G KILLY MGHEE. It matches our bait perfectly here in the Puget Sound. It's becoming my favorite lure for sure. Now, if he's fishing 2 downriggers, he's going to need another rig on the other side. I call this the John Martinez special. You got your green Hornet flasher. Again, I put an orange stripe down the middle. It's got a glow back. And he is a huge believer in the 3-inch. Let's see if I can get it. The 3-inch cookies and cream. And on both of these spoons, I add the red eye.
Okay.
I don't know if that does anything, but ever since I did that, it catches fish, so I just continue to do it.
And you sell those red eye stickers down at John's? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Now
I see a plug.
there's one more option. If you are tired of reeling in fish with the flasher, this is a wonderful alternative to running bait. You can either run bait or one of these little atomic plugs. This 603 is probably one of the most popular and has probably caught more blackmouth than any of these lures that I've displayed. It's a tried and true. It works really, really well. And again, it's just you and the fish fighting at that point. You're not fighting a flasher.
Yep.
And generally, you're going to be picking up fish of legal size. Not saying you won't catch shakers, because it does happen, but it's very... it doesn't happen a lot.
Okay. Love it. Now, we always end these little 10-minute tips with a strategy, an angler's strategy.
Yep.
I see a couple of them relative to plug. Now, you do some plug tutorials, which is awesome. But in general, leader length on your plugs.
6 feet. I do my arm's length.
Okay.
Do 6 foot leaders. You want them nice and long. Always in head of it on the end of your leader, you should have a chain swivel.
Okay.
Not that these things are getting whipped around and doing 360s and stuff, but it does help keep your leader from getting tangled up.
Okay, I see one more tip on here, and this is a strategy because I was taught to run plugs a little bit differently than I see what you do here with. Let's talk about how you tie that. You add that little.
Yep, I put a split ring on it.
Split ring.
Yep, and it just frees up that plug so it can. It uses that split ring to rotate on.
Yep.
You can generally, guys will tie to the bar, and that restricts the movement quite a bit. I put a split ring on and I tie to the split ring. So now this plug can catch water and just rotate on that ring, and it moves it very well. I think it's the easiest way to pull it out of the package, add a split ring, tie a leader, and you're fishing.
Okay, one last tip, and this is a big angler tip. I learned this from John. I think Connor probably learned this from John as well. And you got a package of them over there, but you do, when you get these spoons, you take them out of the package and you actually change out the hooks. What do you change those out with?
A 3/0 owner stinger sidewash hook. It's a sidewash hook is an open eye hook. These ones in particular, the bite to it, so the U in the hook is really big. So when that point's getting into their mouth, you're getting a bigger chunk of that fish. And it has a longer shank, so it pushes the point of the hook a little bit further away from the spoon. A lot of guys add swivels to them, which is totally okay. I found a hook where you don't have to add the swivel. It does all the work for you, and they're sharp as heck out of the box.
I love it. All right, do we miss any tips? You got any tips in your back pocket that we didn't talk about fishing Jeff Head?
One of the most important things to blackmouth fishing or Chinook fishing in general, in my book, is fish on the bottom. Now, it's not dragging your downrigger ball. If you watch me on Dan's boat or his son Hudson, we hit the ball on the bottom, bring it up, say 4 feet. Every 1 minute, I'm doing that, no matter what. The bottom is not level. You're going to constantly be changing depths, and I want that ball on the bottom as close as I can without snagging my gear up. So fish the bottom.
Yeah, you got to remember, Chinook are feeding. They're feeding, and if you go look, next time you catch a Chinook, look at the side of their face, maybe the top of their head. It's dinged up because they're diving into that dirt. They're diving into the bottom. So, hey, great job. We did it under 10. Questions on any of this stuff. If you go out and you have a rough day and you have questions, if you're watching this on YouTube, throw in the comments your questions. We'll get right back to you with an answer. If you're not a part of the John's Sporting Goods community on Facebook, join that community. If you have any questions, throw those out there in the community, and Connor and his team down at John's will take great care of you. And lastly, if you need gear, there's no better place to get custom Puget Sound salmon gear, stuff you can't find at other places, by going down right off Broadway and visiting Connor and his team at John's Sporting Goods. All right, hey, good luck out there. Go get them.